What is up, disc golfers? Today on Iceberg TV, I want to give my opinion as to who I think has the best forehand in disc golf. I have to break it down to the top three forehand players in my mind are Jeremy Koling, Nate Sexton, and Eagle McMahon. Now, what I think makes a good forehand is, are you able to utilize it and throw effective shots? So utility. I think how consistent is it, which is mostly Nate Sexton style. And I think power is also a key factor in having a good forehand, because if you have utility and accuracy, but you can't get birdies with it, then it's also not going to be considered elite in my eyes. So if we just have a look at Big Germ here, Big Germ's biggest strength is his ability to allow himself to throw very different types of shots. So you'll see Big Germ throw discs more like flippy destroyers. He'll throw wraiths. He'll throw discs that will actually have a bit of turn on them, which is very hard to do with a forehand because forehands have a lot more off-axis torque than backhands. A lot of players in this situation would not take the forehand, but Big Germ is able to manipulate his discs and throw his plastic the right way to get that utility out of his disc, and he can throw more different lines with his forehand than anyone else in disc golf. So Big Germ is able to do very different types of shots to make up for his lack of a consistent backhand right now. He used to have a really nice backhand, but he pretty much mostly does his forehands now. And that's because he's so confident that he can get any disc to do whatever he wants it to do. So if we look, he's so good at getting these not crazy overstable distance drivers to get a nice good flip on them and consistently throw good shots. So again, you'll see him go to those wraiths, he'll go to those flippier destroyers, he can flick his mids, he can flick his putters, he flicks a lot of AVR X3s. So I think Big Germ wins the category of how many different types of shots can you throw and how much utility does your forehand have. And I put Big Germ number one in that spot. Now if we look at Nate Sexton has a different type of game, and he bases his game and his disc selection so well hand in hand. Do I think Nate Sexton could throw? I mean, he could throw wraiths. He could easily throw a flippy destroyer and get a nice flip on it, but he has a pretty good, 425-foot backhand, so he doesn't really depend on his forehand to do as many things as Big Germ's forehand does. And I think the disc selection alone lets you know exactly what Nate Sexton's intentions are with his forehand. He wants to throw a long straight shot that has a hard fade at the end. He's not playing with any turn, and he's not risking any inconsistencies in his game. So you see him go to these Echo Star X Cals. These things are very beefy. I used to have one. Unfortunately, I lost it. But if we look at the flight of these things, this is exactly what you expect to see out of Nate Sexton's forehands. You see it from his Firebirds and you see it from his X-Cals. He might flex his Firebirds out a little bit more than the X-Cal, but you can see how, it doesn't really have a lot of turn on it. And even if he was to smash these X-Cals on Anheuser, they're not gonna have that flippy effect of like a wraith. So he's limiting the room for error and increasing the consistency. So he mostly backhands these destroyers and then mostly forehands those X-Cals. Eagle might have the best forehand in the world. Not only because he has accuracy, and not only because he has utility, but he also has ridiculous power. If we come back here, he just threw a 500-foot forehand through the woods. He threw it way too far. So that was amazing to get started with. So he just blasted a super tight fairway on one of the hardest par fives on the Pro Tour. He's from a knee, flicking a D-line P2 up to the basket. This is like the touchiest shot I've ever seen. Probably a very small gap. He flicks it up perfectly all the way to the basket, nestles it to circle's edge. And then, he's not even close to circle's edge. He was even probably a bit closer than that. And then we can also see Eagle has the ability to flick his mid-ranges too. So if we look at Eagle, he has the utility that Big Germ has and the shot variation that Big Germ has, but he has more power than Nate Sexton, but he's probably not quite as consistent as Nate Sexton. But I'm gonna give Eagle the best forehand in disc golf right now because his power separates him so well. I mean, he's just throwing shots that other normal people can't throw. And if we have a look here at the first clip in this video, Eagle just does things that people aren't able to do with his forehand. He just generates so much power and accuracy that I think it's unmatched, and I think he has the best forehand in disc golf right now. I still give Big Germ if there was a leaderboard, Big Germ is still #1 in utility. Nate Sexton is still #1 in consistency, and I think Nate Sexton overall is a better player than Eagle, even though his rating doesn't reflect as such. But I think Eagle, if it was just based on the forehand alone, has the best forehand in disc golf. Everyone knows he has the most distance, and everyone knows the ceiling is limitless with Eagle. That's where I stand right now, and I think we're going to see that when the season restarts again. We're going to see Eagle McMahon demonstrating why he has the best forehand in disc golf, and I'm excited to see it. Leave your comments in the comment section down below. This is Iceberg TV. Thank you for watching, and take care.